Hello, 6th grade. Today we are going to continue working on area and perimeter of shapes. So on the board I've drawn the first two problems, and we are trying to find the area and the perimeter as well as the type of shape. So you see that the sides are labeled by variables instead of numbers. So the first thing we have to do is substitute the value of the variable in place of the variable. So it says that A is 6 1/10 centimeters. So I'll put 6 1/10 everywhere I see A. And then H is 5 66/100 centimeters. So I'll put that in place of H. Now I know that in order to find the area of a parallelogram, I need to multiply the base, which is this line right here, the base times the height, which is the point from the highest point straight down. So the height is 5 66/100 and the base is 6 1/10. Don't get confused and think that the other side length is the height because it's the one that drops straight down. So I'm going to multiply 6 1/10 times 5 66/100. So when I'm multiplying decimals, the first thing I'm going to do is identify the number of digits in each number. So I have 2 digits here, 1 digit here. So in my answer, I will have 2 plus 1, which is 3 digits. I'll do 1 times 6, which is 6, 1 times 6, which is 6, 1 times 5, which is 5. Put a 0 down below my last 6, move over to the 6 and multiply this way. 6 times 6, which is 36, write the 6 down below, carry the 3. 6 times 6, 36 again, plus 3, which is 39, carry the 3. 6 times 5, which is 30, plus 3, so 33. And then add as my last step. Then I'm going to place my pen at the end, move 3 digits over, so I have 3 digits behind the decimal place. My answer will be 34 526 thousandths for the area. So the area is 34 526 thousandths centimeters squared. Looking at the perimeter, I need to add up the lengths of all the sides. Right now, I only have 2 sides labeled, so I'm going to label the rest of my sides. Because it's a parallelogram, all the sides have, because it's a parallelogram, and in this case, both sides have the same length, all 4 sides are going to have the same length. And then I'll add up all my sides. I'll end up with 4 and 24. Decimal stays in the same place. Make sure you are lining up your decimal as you are adding. So my perimeter is going to be 24 4/10. Finally, the type is a parallelogram. So just write parallelogram under type. All right. If you think you know how to do number 2, pause the video right now, try it on your own, and then check your answer as I do it. If not, just follow along. So same thing, my sides are labeled with variables instead of numbers. So the first thing I have to do is put those values in place for the variables. And I see under the rectangle it says A equals 7 2/10 inches. So in place of A, I'll put 7 2/10. And B equals 4 4/10 inches. So in place of B, I'll put 4 4/10. Again, when I'm trying to find the area, I need to multiply the 2 sides, the length and the width, together. So my area is going to be 4.4, 4 4/10 times 7 2/10. I have 1 decimal place here, 1 decimal place here. So before I even multiply, I know that in my answer, there will be 2 digits behind the decimal. Now I multiply normally. 2 times 4, which is 8. 2 times 4 again, 8. Put my 0 as I move on to the next digit, the 7. 7 times 4, 8. Carry the 2. 7 times 4, 28, 30. Now I'll end up with 30, starting adding on the right. 8 plus 0 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, 1, 3. And I know that I have 2 digits behind the decimal place, so I'll count 1, 2, starting from the right, and my answer will be 31 68/100. So the area is 31 68/100 inches squared. Again, for the perimeter, what I need to do is add up the length of all the sides. I do not just add up the 2 sides that are labeled. I need to label all of the sides and then add them up. So this side is equivalent to this side, so it'll be 4 4/10. This side is equivalent to this side, so it'll be 7 and 2/10. So 7 and 2/10 plus 7 and 2/10 is 14 and 4/10. Add the two other sides, plus 4 and 4/10 gets us to 18 and 8/10. And add my final side, which gets us to 23 and 2/10 as my final answer for the perimeter. So the perimeter is 23 and 2/10 inches. For the type, you all know what the shape is, just write rectangle. Try number 3 on your own. I'm going to move on to number 4 as well as one problem on the back. All right, so for number 4. For number 4, it's a little bit tricky because I have a triangle that looks sideways. And it says that the base is 10 feet, or this side right here is 10 feet. I know that these sides are both 13 feet. And then this part in the middle is 12. And I'm trying to find the area of the banner. So I need to figure out which side is my base. So if I count this side as my base, then I wouldn't know the height because I wouldn't know the distance from the top straight down to the bottom so that it's perpendicular to the bottom. The only height that I know is if this side is my base, this 10 feet. So you can imagine that instead of the rectangle being this way, it's like this, where the bottom is 10, and the line from the top straight to the bottom is 12. So I need to count 10 feet as my base because that's the only way that I can find the area of the banner. Now when I'm trying to find area, I need to multiply the base times the height. So my base is 10 and my height is 12. That'll get us to 120. But because it's like a triangle is half of a rectangle, I need to then divide this by 2 to find the area of the triangle. So 120 divided by 2 is going to give us 60. So the area is going to be 60 square feet, which is answer letter B. All right, finally, I'm sorry this video is taking so long, but if you go onto the back of the page, you see some problems like what you guys were doing yesterday. I do want to go over the one problem that was on your exit ticket that a lot of people seem to be struggling with. So this is problem number 10. You see that it's asking the area of the rocket ship, exactly like we had on our exit ticket. So we have a rocket ship with a lot of different measurements labeled. Five, 2, 3, 10, and 4. Okay, so the way that you need to do this the way that you need to find this is by breaking apart all of these different shapes into shapes we know how to measure, which are triangles and rectangles. So I'm going to start with up here. So I see in this triangle up top, I already know the height. I need to figure out what this base is in order to find the area in this triangle. So the base is going to be the same as the other side of this rectangle because this center part is a rectangle. So this side is going to be the same as this side. Now I'm going to use the base and the height to figure out the area of the triangle. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 3, our base times our height, and get 12. Then I need to divide it by 2 to find the area of the triangle, which will get us 6. So the area of this triangle up top is 6. This next part is really easy because it's just a rectangle in the middle here. So I know one length is 10, the length is 10 and the width is 3. It's really easy to find the area, just multiply them. So the area of this center part is going to be 3 times 10, which equals 30. Finally, I have this trapezoid at the bottom, which is a little bit trickier. So In order to find the area of this trapezoid, I need to break it apart into 2 triangles and a rectangle. So if I draw a line here and a line here, I have 2 triangles and 1 rectangle. So the length of this whole part on the bottom is 5. Then I need to figure out what these smaller lengths are so I can find the area of the triangle and the rectangle. Because this inside right here is a rectangle, I know that this length is going to be 3 because it will be the same as the opposite side. So this length is going to be 3, this length is going to be 2 because, again, it's a rectangle, so the opposite sides have the same length. The last part I need to figure out is what these 2 smaller parts right here equal to. So if I know the whole thing is 5 and this equals 3, I have 2 units left over that I need to split up between these 2 parts. So you see the whole thing from this side to this side is 5, and this part to this part is 3. So if the whole thing is 5 and this part to this part is 3, there are 2 units that are unaccounted for. So I have 2 units that I need to split up. So if I put 1 unit here and 1 unit here, then I have 1 plus 3, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5. So that'll give us the whole base. And now I just need to multiply. So this rectangle is easy, 3 times 2, the area is going to be 6. Here we have 2 times 1, but because it's a triangle, I then need to divide it by 2, so the area is going to be 1. And this triangle is exactly the same as the one on the other side, so the area will also be 1. My last step is just add up all the areas, so I have 6 plus 30, 36, plus 6, which is 42, plus 1, 43, plus 1, 44. So the area is going to be 44 square units. I know that there are a lot of steps to problems like these, but just figure out how you can break it apart so that you can find the area of the individual shapes. All right, good luck trying the rest of the problems on your own, and raise your hand if you have any questions.